Hey guys, welcome back to my workshop, and today we're going to talk about top 10 tips to do a variety bash. Top 10 tips that we learned, and if you listen to these tips and you're thinking about doing a variety bash, this will make your whole experience and the whole process just a lot easier and better for you. Alright, number one, and this is no surprise to anyone, is car selection. You got to choose the right car, but not just the right car for the event, but the right car for you. So what I mean by that is what car are you can rely into, and you can trust, and this vehicle. It's not necessarily other people might have different ideas to you, but what car are you comfortable with? That how it works, what sizes wrenches it takes, all that kind of stuff. And obviously it helps a lot if you build your own car. So our recommendation is to go for an older car, but not too old and not too new. Like for example, our car is a good blend of like old school kind of big metal things underneath the car, and also modern things like brakes and a little bit of safety stuff. A lot better than a really old car, let's say from the 70s or the 60s. What we've noticed on the bash is that Australian made cars suffered a lot less than I'm sorry about JDM guys or anything like that. They're just made for this stuff. They're just the way they're built, the way the bits that the cars are reinforced. It is true. Like Australian cars are built for Australian conditions, and it's no secret that they're pretty tough conditions out there. X Series Ford chassis, so that's like anything from any kind of Falcon all the way up to like when they started doing like sort of the modern. And then the Holden, Kingswoods did really well, the older sort of 70s, good, and even a lot of Holdens from the 90s, like there was a Statesman, the Mickey Mouse car, and he didn't have much problems at all. He just had like a 5-litre V8, very basic sort of reliable setup, and he was just creaming it, he was just cruising through everything. Volvo.
The Volvo, sorry.
Volvo's definitely... there was one Volvo in the bash, and they're very tough cars. They could definitely do it easily. Like American cars, I guess, but not a lot of people want to sort of bash on those cars now. They're going up in value. Cars to stay away from, I'd say Subaru, funny enough. Mercedes, because car can only be 2-wheel drive. Mercedes, the back suspension on them is just so complicated, all these rubbers and levers, and if you end up carrying a lot of weight in your car, and all these rubbers and suspension components basically just flog out after a couple of days on Mercedes. Number 2 on the list is theme, wrap, costume. So you got to select an awesome theme, a colourful theme, something that resonates with the kids, adults, everybody, something that everyone can relate to. It could be a cartoon, popular sort of culture, some kind of event, but yeah, you got to have a theme. Wrap, you got to wrap your whole car. Basically just wrap whatever theme you come up with. Spend money to get the whole car wrapped so it looks like it's meant to be there. Do not hold back on the graphics. The graphic designer to do design over your whole car. Put as many things as you can on there. Don't worry about sponsors too much, because you can put the stickers on afterwards, but just get that theme, and we'll post some photos of really good theme cars. And last thing, costume. You got to get your costume. You can't just have, like I just had, just last minute, some kind of plan I came up with. No, you got to have an awesome costume, and you got to be willing to wear it at all times. It's got to be easy to take on and off. It's got to be easy to stay clean. So yeah, you got to think about those things. But yeah, get your costume right and get your teammates right. So don't go with people that you conflict with, or you can't talk around. There is some underlying issues. Make sure the people that you go with, you get on with, and you can talk to these people, and people that you go with don't fold under pressure. So take people that you know are gonna be, maintain their composure even if or when things go totally wrong for your team and it seems like everything's over and everything's lost. It helps if there's a mechanic on the team, definitely. Also, I've noticed teams that kind of work, there's someone in the team that's a bit sort of, a bit of a joker, sort of like diffuses tension. That person doesn't have to do much, they don't have to contribute much technically or even driving, but they're kind of keeping the team together is important too, so you gotta think about those things. Yes, and the more people you have in your team, the easier it is to fundraise. So yeah, again, pick your team, make sure 3, 4, 5 people, share the load. Yeah, share the load of fundraising and will make it a lot easier. Number 3 on the list is suspension setup. Now, when you go to these meetings for Variety Bash and they'll be telling you what mods to do to the car, make sure, if you don't do any other mods, make sure you sort out your suspension. And what I mean by that is raise the height as much as you can. Raise your car, get the biggest springs you can find, get the best shocks, and get the, make sure all the rubbers are replaced and lubricated and nothing's bent. And if you can strengthen an arm like we did on our car, if you can plate something and make it stronger, just do that. Basically, suspension is going to be your number one thing that's going to make or break your Variety Bash. Like, you got to have very tough suspension. The car's got to be high off the ground. It's got to be ready basically to be dropped from a building. Number 4, fundraising. You have to raise, for your first time, $4,000 for your team. Second time, $8,000. The way that you fundraise is you sell the car. So don't ring up people and say, oh, do you want to I'm doing this event, give me some money or give me this or that. No, you don't do that. What you do is you ring up and you say, hi, I'm such and such. We're doing a charity event in this car and I am selling space for stickers on my car. This is how you approach it. And then you'll see the difference in that, where people will feel more obliged and they feel like they're getting something out of it rather than giving money to something that they don't know anything about. So you have a couple of sizes, like small, medium, large. So sort of roughly map out your car, the panels, work out how much real estate you have to sell, and then have different price ranges. So if somebody wants to spend a couple of $1,000s, you can say you can have the bonnet or the roof or the boot, whatever, or the whole side. And another thing, try and get a major sponsor on board, so that sponsor basically sponsors the building of the car. Expenses associated with the build of the car are covered by a major sponsor. That's another good thing. Number 5 is what to bring. What do you bring with you? Basically, bring double the clothes that you think you need. Because out there, you get dirty every day, you sweat, showers are not always at hand or working. So just bring lots of clothes with you, and just clothes you don't care about and you can get dirty and that sort of stuff. Another thing, make sure you bring small swags, because on the trailer there is only a certain amount of room and they do not allow double swags. A mistake that me and Con did, we bought double swags and we had to basically just carry them in the back of the car the whole time. Bring single swags, not double swags. Bring an esky.
The biggest esky you can...
The biggest esky you could possibly find for sale anywhere. Okay, number 6, follow spare parts list. Follow spare parts list. So when you sign up for the bash, they will give you a whole bunch of information, and some of that information will be the list of parts that you should bring with you when you go on the bash. My advice to you guys, just follow that list. Whatever's on the list, bring those things. The things are there for a reason. So, these guys have been running this event for 30 years. If they say bring something, just bring it. Especially suspension parts. Yeah. Anything to do with suspension, yeah, bring extra bushes, whatever you can get your hands on. The more you bring, the better. Number 7, navigation. Navigation you have to navigate unfamiliar terrain in dusty conditions, probably in a car that's limping or broken or whatever reason. Maybe your headlights are not working because they got smashed up. You need to be able to navigate. They give you instructions at the beginning of the day, and that's fine, but throughout the day the column stretches out and you can't always see where people turn, and often you find yourself by yourself driving an unfamiliar territory. You need to be able to navigate. So our recommendation to you is invest money and get a proper Garmin navigation device that they use for professional, marine stuff and all that. Sits in the front of the dash. You have your GPS location, top down, you know what I'm talking about, Google Maps, that sort of thing. But, run on its own off a satellite. Invest in that and it'll make your whole life so much easier. You'll be glad for it. Okay, number 8, terrain. Terrain. Ask questions about the terrain. Ask questions before you go in Variety Bash. So, what sort of terrain are we going to go on? I know you can't tell us the route, but can you tell us if it's going to be sandy or rocky or what, or what to prepare for? Just ask questions. Well, we didn't do that. We're just like, okay, we're going on some kind of event, Just ask questions. What sort of terrain? Well, what can I expect to face? It might dictate how you set up and prepare your car. And number 9, shakedown run. Okay, so you've been working on your car, you've been sorting all the issues out, you and your friends have gathered all this money, you're ready to go, and you get about 2-3 hours outside of Perth and your car blows up or some wheel comes off. What I reckon you should be doing is getting your car ready before the bash. It doesn't matter, it can even be like a few days before you leave. Make sure the car's done and make sure you take it for a shakedown run. So, and what I mean by that is like put it through its paces. Take it on the freeway. Go the speed limit for an hour or as long as you can. Take it in the bush. Get some bush tracks. Listen to suspension. Walk out of the car. Have a look at it. Is everything okay? Something leaking? Is the car leaning over to one side? Get an inspection done after your shakedown run. Use the brakes. Just use the car. Just try and brake it. Much better off braking a car in Perth or whatever city you start from than braking your car out in the middle of nowhere with no spare parts. So make sure you do a shakedown run before you leave. Number 10. Now, this is number 10 on the list, but it probably should be number 1. And that is be thankful to your family and your friends.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Because they're the ones that got you here to this point. You think about it, you're out at night. You're spending time wrenching on the car or doing fundraising. You're away. Meanwhile, your family, your loved ones, doing without you. They're missing you, and they want you in their life, hopefully, and you're not there. So you got to recognize that as well, and you got to be thankful. You be thankful to those people, to your family, to your friends, and the people that organize the events and people that you meet on the Variety Bash. Just be thankful. Just be thankful all the time. Use your head. Be thankful for one another, and know that you're doing a good thing for the children that really need you. And just let the adventure take you away. Thanks.